fancy seeing you here. Hi, my name is Michaela Nathan de Castro, and I will be reporting Cleansed by Sarah Kane. Quick trigger warning. This report may contain triggering or sensitive material. Physical violence, sexual violence, and suicide are some of the topics mentioned and showed within this report. So, let's dive right into it. Cleansed belongs to a genre of theater called in-your-face theater. Coined by Alex Sietz, in this genre, writers challenge the audience by putting the worst problems of the world before your very eyes. The term "in your face" means to grab your attention and to invade your personal space. So, yun yung objective ng in-your-face theater. So, this statement was on the cover of the script. In an institution designed to rid society of its undesirables, a group of inmates tried to save themselves through love. Cleansed is a tender and violent fable from the author of Blasted and Phaedra's Love, Sarah Kane. Fun fact, one of the reasons for writing this play was a line from a French philosopher named Roland Barthes. Sabi niya, being in love is like being in Auschwitz. Mika, what's Auschwitz? Well, Auschwitz is one of the largest German Nazi concentration camps and extermination centers. So, inspired by Auschwitz, din yung set design. So, let's start with the plot overview. So, Cleansed has 20 scenes, all in all, pero shinorten ko na lang siya to 11 scenes cause it's pretty long. I mean, long when I discuss it. So, as showed earlier, the set design is inspired by Auschwitz. It is set in a university campus. Yung story mismo was set in a university campus that was turned into a hospital/torture institution. And, let's meet the characters. Oh my god. Okay, wala lang. Na-excite ako para sa inyo. Tinker. Sadistic torture. For anyone who doesn't know what a sadist is, it's a person who finds sexual pleasure in pain or humiliation. So, Carl and Rod. Carl and Rod are friends and they're both middle-aged men. Tapos si Robin, inpatient siya sa hospital and he's actually written originally as a boy, pero minsan pinaplay din siya by a girl. And then Woman, a neurotic dancer. And then Grace and Graham. Take note! Magkapatid sila. Please remember that. They are siblings, biological siblings. Anyways, so let's get on to the story. Scene number 1. The first scene takes place just inside the perimeter fence of a university. Graham approaches Tinker, who appears to be a drug dealer. Graham says, "Yo, Tinker, I want out. I don't want drugs anymore. Pero he asks for drugs as well. And then Tinker says, "No." And then they argue about whether or not they're friends. And then Tinker eventually injects Graham with drugs next to his eye and he overdoses and dies. Poor Graham. Scene number 2. Carl and Rod sit in a room together. Carl asks Rod if he can have his ring as a proposal of marriage. Rod says no. Carl promises to always love him, never betray him, and never lie to him. However, Rod claims that Carl doesn't even know his real name. And says na he would never die for Carl, so... Pero, Carl doesn't care about what he said, and keeps asking for the ring. Rod doesn't surrender the ring, pero he admits na he loves him. And they smooch. Yay! Scene number 3. Grace enters the hospital demanding Tinker to give her Graham's clothes. Yung brother niya, Graham. They both know na Graham died. Tapos, Tinker calls on Robin who is wearing Graham's clothes. Grace and Robin strip and switch clothing, with Grace wearing her brother's clothes and Robin wearing Grace's dress. Tapos, biglang nag-scream si Grace and she breaks down because of the scent of her dead brother. Tapos, hinangcuff ni Tinker si Grace on the bed and admits her as a patient there. Tapos, nung nagising na si Grace from her sedation, she asks Robin to write to her father for her. Pero Robin says he can't write, so. Scene 4. Okay, trigger warning, cause the next 8 scenes / the last 8 scenes will be disturbing to you. So, okay. In the next scene, binugbog ni Tinker si Carl, cause Tinker wants him to admit na he's in a relationship with Rod. And then, out of nowhere, Tinker sticks a long pole up Carl's anus. And then tineta ni Tinker na he's gonna shove it through his entire body. And then Carl eventually says Rod's name and then apologizes to Rod for it kasi alam na ni Tinker yung name ni Rod. So like, Tinker could go to Rod and like, ah! But, tapos, out of nowhere again, ito talaga si Tinker. Oh, this one's the pole scene. And then out of nowhere, Tinker cuts out Carl's tongue and makes him swallow Rod's ring. So, okay. Scene number 5. Grace has begun to hallucinate that Graham, her brother, is still alive. Tapos, both of them have sex and create a relationship with each other. On a more wholesome note though, after all of that, Grace tries to teach Robin how to read. Tapos, Robin tells Grace na he loves her, aww, but Grace rejects it because she's apparently in love with her brother. Okay, and then, out of nowhere again, Tinker tears out the writing in Robin's notebook and leaves. Like, for what? For what, Tinker? For what? Tapos, when Carl and Rod are just being a wholesome couple, Tinker literally cuts out Carl's hands in front of Rod, who just lays there to comfort him. What the hell, Tinker? Tinker? I don't know about you, but you're kinda cray-cray. Scene 6. Tinker goes to an erotic dancer known simply as Woman in a booth. He attempts to masturbate but gets sad and leaves. And because he got sad, he goes off to cut Carl's feet as well. Tinker! What? Who does that? Who gets upset and cuts people's limbs off? No one. Okay, anyways. So, scene 7. Robin buys a box of chocolates for Grace. Aww. And then Tinker confiscates the box of chocolates and asks Robin about them, who says they are for Grace. And then Tinker stands above him and throws chocolates on the ground towards him, demanding that he eats them. And then, crying, Robin is force-fed the whole box of chocolates. Scene 7. So in the next scene, Carl is crying as Rod crawls up to him. They embrace, they have sex, and then Rod vows never to lie to him, never to betray him, and always love him. Aww. And then Tinker enters the room and literally slits Rod's throat in front of Carl, who holds him as he dies. Scene 9. Grace and Robin sit together with Graham looking. Robin works on counting the number of days sa 30-year sentence niya. Tapos biglang na-upset si Robin kasi Grace is ignoring him. Isa pa tong si Grace. Like, Grace, just listen. And then Robin takes off the stockings he has been wearing and ties them around his neck. And then Grace continues to ignore him, and Robin eventually hangs himself. Oh, Grace. Oh my god, okay. And then Grace, in scene 10, Grace gets a sex change. While in the hospital, she arrives on stage with bandages on her groin and her breasts. And then Tinker says na she's a beautiful man, just like your brother. And then, but Carl awakes from the bed behind her, touching his groin. He realized that his genitals were cut off and placed onto Grace's genitals. And he starts to wail silently. Kasi nga, Tinker cut off his tongue. And after all that, Tinker goes and has sex with the woman, declaring his love for her. I mean, good for you, Tinker. True love. But you know what? Not good for you, because look what you did to Carl. I mean, anyways, scene 11, in the final scene, Grace sits on stage with Carl, who is now wearing her dress. She speaks to Graham until she realizes he is not there. Just an hallucination. And she thanks Tinker as Carl begins to cry again. Grace and Carl are alone together on stage when finally the sun comes out. And the end! Whew! I would love to hear your opinion on that. Anyone want to share a phrase? Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh my god. Oh my god, so true. Oh my god, si Tinker talaga, no? Oh my god. Okay, thank you for that participation. So, yeah. Well, personal insight. First of all, sumakit po ang ulo ko nung binasa ko yon, and I would like to say that I am giving up my spot in theater stream kasi ayoko na po dito. Please save me. That was a joke! Okay, on a more serious note, I didn't understand why the characters did what they did, especially si Tinker. Tinker. That boy needs therapy. Pero overall, I found that interesting kasi I'm personally a fan of psychological theater, pero I am sure lots of people would disagree with me. According to Oliver Wiscard, a fiction editor and proofreader, there were early reports of people fainting and walking out in disgust during the previews. And according to The Guardian as well, 40 people walked out during 6 shows in the first week in 1998. So we could say na a lot of people found it disturbing. So who was behind this? I want to know. Sarah Kane! Now let's talk about her. Let's talk about more about? I don't know. So, she's a British playwright who is part of the in-your-face theater movement. Her works focused on themes like death, sex, violence, and mental illness, but she incorporates the intenseness of love and passion in all of that. Tapos, all her works struck controversy. And she only wrote 5 plays in her lifetime, tapos isang film. She struggled with intense manic depression for many years, but she continued to work. And she ended her life in 1999. So, how significant is Cleansed? How does it compare with the similar works of Sarah Kane? So, Cleansed along with the other works of Sarah Kane is an important part of theater kasi it shows the truth. like regarding yung mga violence that occurs in the world, especially in her first work, Blasted. She tackles the issue of rape and the horrors of war. So parang namumulat na yung mga tao sa mga ganoong problema at that time. So how does it compare with the similar works of Kane? According to an article by The Artifice, Cleansed, okay, medyo na-shock ako dito. Cleansed apparently has the most positive message out of all Kane's works. If that's true, I'm scared of the other works. Kasi naman, okay, anyways. So, Blasted, Rape and War, 4.48 Psychosis is about depression, and this was actually written shortly before Kane's suicide. And it's about a single person who's like very depressed and vocalize niya yung desire to die. Tapos, yun nga, Cleansed, and then Crave. Crave has no stage directions. Tapos yung characters' sexes and names are not really clear. Like yung names nila are just letters of the alphabet, like ABC. And then Phaedra's Love is about incestuous love. And yung isa pa is Skin. Love story siya, pero yung characters, they hate each other apparently. And let's watch some stuff. Oh my god. So this one is a drama workshop in 2015, Cleansed. Tapos ito yung scene na, like, they're gonna stick a long pole up, okay, sorry nag-lowbat yung phone ko, up Carl's anus. So let's watch.
There's a vertical passage through your body, a straight line through which an object can pass without immediately killing you. Starts here. Can take a pole, shove it up here, avoiding all major organs until it emerges here.
Die eventually, of course. From starvation. If nothing else gets you first. What's your boyfriend's name?
Jesus!
Can you describe his genitals?
Please!
When was the last time that you sucked his cock?
No!
Do you take it up the arse?
Oh, please don't fucking kill me!
Don't give it, I can see that. Close your eyes. Imagine it's him. Oh, Rodney! Rodney! Split me in half!
Don't kill me! Please, not me! Don't kill me!
I
Kill
love
Ron,
you,
not
Ron.
me!
I die for you.
Don't kill me!
And
Kill Ron,
not
not me! Ron, not
Fine.
me!
To kill either of you.
Okay, that's it. That's too, okay. This next one is Psychosis, yung 4.48. This is very cool. I mean, depression's not cool, but this one's very cool. So, let's watch it.
I have lost interest in other people. I can't eat, I can't sleep, I can't think. My brother is dying, my lover is dying, I'm killing them both. I'm charging towards my death, I'm terrified of medication. I cannot be alone, I cannot be with others. At 4.48, when desperation visits, I shall hang myself. I've resigned myself to death this year.
Okay, that's all. Yes, that's all. So, thank you for watching and thank you for participating. And here are my sources. And on a completely unnecessary note, can we please watch this cat video being funny? Because because the stuff we handle today is very heavy. So here's a cat video.
Я сегодня тебе принес не букет из пышных роз, не тюльпаны и не лилии, а всего лишь петунии и...
Okay. Okay, so that's it. So thank you everyone. Go ahead and watch other Sarah Kane plays and all, okay? Bye. Thank you.